Let your plans be dark and impenetrable as night, and when you move, fall like a thunderbolt. We are entering a psychological war zone. The higher you climb, the colder the air becomes. You have a target on your back. Envy, sabotage, and competition are not possibilities, they are guarantees. If you hesitate, they will devour you. Today, we declare total war on those who try to stop you. Niccolò Machiavelli is here to teach you the preemptive strike, how to identify and eliminate threats before they grow. Marcus Aurelius is here to teach you the ultimate defense, how to become so competent that your enemies become irrelevant. Quick check. If you are ready to stop being a victim and start being a conqueror, subscribe now. The world is trying to stop you. Let's destroy the obstacle.
Marcus, wake up. You sit on your throne writing poetry about brotherhood, but outside your tent, the wolves are circling. Look at the modern man. He is naive. He thinks that if he does good work, he will be rewarded. He thinks that if he is kind, others will be kind in return. This delusion is why he fails. He does not realize that he has a target painted on his back. The moment you decide to rise, you declare war on everyone who has decided to stay down. Your success is an insult to their mediocrity. They will not applaud you. They will try to destroy you. To survive, you must first accept the state of war. You are not in a garden. You are in a pit. And in the pit, there are only two types of people: threats and tools. If a man is not helping you ascend, he is likely plotting your descent. You must learn to identify the saboteur before he strikes.
You paint the world in the colors of blood and bile, Niccolò. You see a war where there is only life. Yes, there are envious men. Yes, there are those who wish to impede us. But to view every shadow as an assassin is a sickness of the mind. You speak of the threat as if it were external. I tell you, the greatest threat is not the man plotting against you. It is your own reaction to him. If you live in constant paranoia, scanning the horizon for enemies, you have already lost. You have given them your peace. You have become a slave to their potential malice. Most people are not plotting against you. They are simply acting out of their own ignorance and pain. They are like children throwing dust. It is annoying, perhaps, but it is not war. To treat a fly like a lion is to grant the fly a dignity it does not deserve.
A fly can carry a plague that kills a king. Do not underestimate the small enemies, Marcus. That is the mistake of the arrogant. Let us talk about the weed. When a weed appears in your garden, it is small. It looks harmless. You might feel pity for it. You might say, let it grow. It is just a small plant. But while you sleep, its roots are strangling your roses. By the time you decide to act, it has taken over the entire soil. Human enemies are weeds. They start as a subtle joke at your expense, a small act of disrespect, a missed deadline, a whisper behind your back. The weak man ignores these signs. He wants to be nice. He wants to avoid conflict. He thinks, if I ignore it, it will go away. I tell you, it will not go away. It will multiply. Disrespect is like cancer. If you do not cut it out immediately, it spreads. The doctrine of the preemptive strike. You do not wait for them to stab you. You do not wait for the betrayal to be complete. The moment you smell the sulfur of treason, you strike. You destroy the weed, root and stem, before it can drop its seeds.
And so you spend your life gardening with a flamethrower. You burn the weeds, but you also burn the roses. You burn the soil. This preemptive strike is an admission of fear. You strike first because you are terrified that you cannot withstand their blow. You are fragile, Niccolò. Only a fragile thing needs to destroy everything around it to feel safe. The Stoic does not need to attack first, because the Stoic cannot be harmed. Let them joke, let them whisper, let them plot. They are throwing stones at a fortress. The stone chips the wall, perhaps, but the fortress stands. If you react to every small slight with total destruction, you reveal your insecurity. You show the world that your ego is made of glass. A king does not execute the jester for a bad joke. He ignores him. Silence is a heavier blow than your sword. By ignoring them, you confirm their insignificance. You erase them from your reality.
Ignoring them works if you are an emperor surrounded by guards. In the real world, ignoring a rival allows him to gather strength. You call it insignificance. I call it gestation. Let us give the student the tool to spot these snakes. How do you identify the enemy hiding in plain sight? Look for the ambiguous compliment. The friend who says, "Wow, you got the promotion? I'm surprised they picked you, given your background." It sounds like praise, but it tastes like poison. Look for the microaggression. They arrive late to your meetings consistently. They forget to invite you. They interrupt you in front of others. These are not accidents. These are tests. They are testing your fence to see if it is electrified. If you fail these tests, if you smile and accept the compliment, if you tolerate the lateness, you have signaled submission. You have told them, "I am soft. You can eat me." You must crush these behaviors instantly. Not with silence, Marcus, but with correction. You stop the conversation. You look them in the eye. You strip away the veneer of politeness. You ask, "What exactly did you mean by that?" You force them to retreat. You must show your teeth. If you do not have teeth, you are food.
I agree on the diagnosis, but not the cure. Yes, the ambiguous compliment is the hiss of the snake. Yes, the lateness is a test of value. But you correct them by engaging with their game. You descend to their level to wrestle in the mud. I propose the mirror of truth. When a man acts with malice, he is revealing his own character, not yours. If someone arrives late to disrespect me, I do not get angry. I simply start without them. If they interrupt, I stop speaking and look at them until they wither. But I do not harbor hatred. Hatred binds you to the person you hate. It is a chain. If you are obsessed with destroying them, you are thinking about them. They are living in your head rent-free. To truly destroy an enemy, you must render them irrelevant. You must become so competent, so excellent, and so far above their reach that their arrows cannot even find you. The eagle does not fight the snake on the ground. The eagle flies to an altitude where the snake cannot breathe and drops it. Rise above, Niccolò. Do not fight in the gutter.
High altitude is cold and lonely, and while you are flying, the snake is biting your children on the ground. You speak of rising above as if it solves the problem. It does not. It merely postpones the conflict. Sometimes you must come down from the clouds and dirty your hands. You must understand the physics of power. Power is zero-sum in the short term. If he wins the position, you lose it. If he steals your client, you starve. There is no coexistence with a true enemy. There is only victory or defeat. And if you must defeat him, do not do it halfway. This is the most dangerous mistake of the good man. He wounds the enemy, but leaves him alive. He insults him, but leaves him with power. Men ought either to be well treated or crushed. If you injure a man lightly, he will recover and seek revenge. His hatred will fester. He will plot against you for 10 years. If you crush him, if you destroy his reputation, remove his resources, and isolate his allies, he cannot take revenge. Total annihilation is the only safe path. If you are going to strike, make sure he never gets up again.
That is the logic of a butcher. Total annihilation. Do you hear yourself? You are talking about human beings, not insects. When you destroy another man completely, you destroy a part of yourself. You kill your own humanity. You become a monster to defeat a monster. And then, who is left to rule? Only the monster. And practically speaking, Niccolò, your total war creates a cycle of vengeance that never ends. You crush him? Fine. His brother will rise. His son will rise. His friends will rise.
You create a hydra. Cut off one head, and two more appear, fueled by the righteous anger of the victim. The only victory that is permanent is conversion or transcendence. Convert the enemy into a friend, and you have destroyed the enemy. Or transcend the need for the conflict entirely. The best revenge is not to be like that. If he is cruel, I will be just. If he is deceitful, I will be honest. My virtue is the burning coal upon his head. It shames him, it exposes him, and eventually it defeats him, without me ever raising a hand.
Virtue does not shame the shameless, Marcus. It makes them laugh. They see your virtue as an opportunity to exploit you further.
Look at this fool, they say. He follows the reels. Let us rob him. Conversion is a fantasy. Judas sat at the table with Jesus, saw the miracles, and still sold him for silver. You cannot convert a nature that is rotten. You must accept that some people are fundamentally broken. They are driven by envy so deep it cannot be cured. For these people, there is no view from above. There is only the gate. You must close the gate. Cut them off, block access, fire them, ghost them. And if they try to kick down the door, you open it and unleash the hounds. You must be We have identified the enemy, Marcus. Now we must deal with him. And this is where the virtuous man fails most spectacularly. He hesitates. He throws a soft punch. He wants to teach a lesson without causing permanent damage. This is not mercy, it is incompetence. Listen to the law of power. If an injury has to be done to a man, it should be so severe that his vengeance need not be feared. If you insult a man, he will hate you. If you fire him but leave him his connections, he will plot against you. If you defeat him but leave him his dignity, he will rise again. You must take everything. If you strike, you must destroy his reputation, his resources, and his will to fight. You must leave him so broken that the thought of revenge feels like lifting a mountain. Half measures are the death of kings.
You speak of men as if they were weeds to be pulled. Destroy him completely. Do you know what happens to the soul of the man who does the destroying? To crush another human being requires you to kill the part of yourself that feels empathy. You become a hollow shell, filled only with the echo of your own violence. And practically, Niccolò, your total war is exhausting. You spend your life looking over your shoulder, waiting for the one survivor you missed. There is a tactic superior to destruction: indifference. To destroy a man is to acknowledge that he is a threat. It validates him. It says, you are powerful enough to force my hand. To ignore him completely, to look through him as if he were transparent, that is the ultimate insult. It drives them mad. They want your anger. They want your reaction. Give them nothing. Silence is the loudest noise you can make in the face of rage.
Indifference is a luxury for the philosopher in the garden. In the arena, indifference gets you stabbed. You say, ignore them. I say, isolate them. If a rival is trying to stop you, you do not just ignore him, you cut his supply lines. You whisper to his allies that he is unstable. You cast doubt on his competence. The smear campaign. It is ugly, yes, but effective. Humans are herd animals. If the herd believes one sheep is sick, they distance themselves. You must paint your enemy as sick. Make him radioactive. When he walks into a room and silence falls, he is finished. He has no social capital. He is dead before his heart stops beating. This is how you win without drawing a sword. You use the tongues of others to execute him.
This is the weapon of a coward. To use whispers and lies, to assassinate a character because you fear the man. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. If he uses lies, I use truth. If he uses whispers, I speak openly. You think your smear campaign destroys him? It destroys you. It makes you a gossiper, a schemer. People may fear you, but they will never trust you. They know that if you whisper about him, you will whisper about them. You build a kingdom of paranoia. My tactic is the granite wall. Let them throw their mud. It slides off. I do not engage. I do not defend myself against absurd accusations. To defend is to validate. I continue my work. I shine brighter. Excellence is the only irrefutable argument. When they see that their attacks do not change my pulse, do not alter my schedule, do not dim my smile, they begin to fear me. They realize they are fighting a force of nature, not a man.
They fear you? No, Marcus. They laugh at you. They mistake your granite wall for stupidity. They think you don't notice. You must show them that you notice, and that you are capable of violence. A prince must have the claws of a beast, even if he keeps them sheathed. Occasionally, you must make an example of someone. The public execution. Not a literal death, but a professional one. When someone crosses a red line, you do not just fire them quietly. You dismantle them in front of the tribe. You expose their incompetence. You detail their failure. You shame them. Why? Not for them, for the audience.
When the crowd sees the price of crossing you, order is restored instantly. Fear creates peace. Cruelty to one is mercy to the many, because it prevents future rebellion.
Cruelty is mercy? The logic of every tyrant in history.
You rule by terror, but terror is fragile. It requires constant maintenance. You have to keep killing, keep shaming, keep crushing. You can never rest. I rule by authority. Authority comes from self-mastery. If I am the most disciplined man in the room, I am the leader. If I am the calmest man in the room, I am the leader. I do not need to shame a subordinate to prove my power. My power is self-evident. If a man betrays me, I remove him. But I do it without drama. I cut the cord. Coldly, efficiently. I do not give him the satisfaction of a public execution. I give him the void. He is gone. He is forgotten. You want to be the monster under the bed. I want to be the mountain. The monster scares children. The mountain commands awe from everyone.
Mountains get climbed, Marcus, and chipped away. You assume that people respect discipline. People envy discipline, and envy breeds hate. You are too noble for this world. You believe that if you are good, the universe will protect you. The universe is indifferent. The enemy is active. Let us talk about the trap. If someone is trying to stop you, sometimes the best move is to let them think they have succeeded. Feign weakness. Look confused. Let them advance. Let them think they have you cornered. When an enemy thinks he has won, he becomes careless. He reveals his flank. And that is when you close the trap. You use their own momentum against them. This is the art of the fox. Never let them know how strong you are until it is too late for them to retreat.
Deception again, always the mask. But
We have identified the enemy, Marcus. Now we must deal with him. And this is where the virtuous man fails most spectacularly. He hesitates. He throws a soft punch. He wants to teach a lesson without causing permanent damage. This is not mercy. It is incompetence. Listen to the law of power. If an injury has to be done to a man, it should be so severe that his vengeance need not be feared. If you insult a man, he will hate you. If you fire him but leave him his connections, he will plot against you. If you defeat him but leave him his dignity, he will rise again. You must take everything. If you strike, you must destroy his reputation, his resources, and his will to fight. You must leave him so broken that the thought of revenge feels like lifting a mountain. Half measures are the death of kings.
You speak of men as if they were weeds to be pulled. Destroy him completely. Do you know what happens to the soul of the man who does the destroying? To crush another human being requires you to kill the part of yourself that feels empathy. You become a hollow shell, filled only with the echo of your own violence. And practically, Niccolò, your total war is exhausting. You spend your life looking over your shoulder, waiting for the one survivor you missed. There is a tactic superior to destruction: indifference. To destroy a man is to acknowledge that he is a threat. It validates him. It says, "You are powerful enough to force my hand." To ignore him completely, to look through him as if he were transparent, that is the ultimate insult. It says, "You do not exist in my world." It drives them mad. They want your anger. They want your reaction. Give them nothing. Silence is the loudest noise you can make in the face of rage.
Indifference is a luxury for the philosopher in the garden. In the arena, indifference gets you stabbed. You say ignore them. I say isolate them. If a rival is trying to stop you, you do not just ignore him. You cut his supply lines. You whisper to his allies that he is unstable. You cast doubt on his competence. The smear campaign. It is ugly, yes, but effective. Humans are herd animals. If the herd believes one sheep is sick, they distance themselves. You must paint your enemy as sick. Make him radioactive. When he walks into a room and silence falls, he is finished. He has no social capital. He is dead before his heart stops beating. This is how you win without drawing a sword. You use the tongues of others. We have spoken of destruction, Marcus, and I see the hesitation in the student's eyes. He asks, "But Niccolò, if I destroy everyone who stands in my way, will I not be alone?" And I answer, yes, you will be alone. But you must understand the physics of the mountain. The higher you climb, the thinner the air becomes. The crowd is at the bottom. The peak is narrow. There is only room for one. If you want to be loved, stay at the bottom. Eat bread with the peasants. Share your warmth. But if you want to rule, you must accept the solitude of command. To destroy your enemies often means destroying your old life. You must prune the dead branches, the friends who hold you back, the family members who doubt you, the peers who envy you. You must cut them off. Is it painful? Yes. Is it necessary? Absolutely. You cannot fly if you are carrying dead weight. The cost of power is isolation. Accept it. or remain a servant.
You call it solitude of command. I call it exile. You are not climbing a mountain, Niccolò. You are digging a hole. You dig it deeper and deeper, throwing the dirt on everyone else until you are standing alone in a dark pit, thinking you are at the summit because you cannot see anyone else. Man is a social animal. We were made for cooperation, like feet, like hands, like eyelids. To act against one another is contrary to nature. When you prune everyone around you, you do not become a king, you become a cancer. A cancer cell destroys everything around it to grow itself, and eventually it kills the host and dies. You ask the student to pay with his soul. You promise him power, but you give him a desert. What good is a throne if you sit in an empty room, terrified of the silence?
Better to sit in an empty room than in a room full of knives. You speak of cooperation, but look at history. Every great empire was built by one man who dared to do what others would not. One man who was willing to be the villain. Caesar, Alexander. They did not get there by cooperating. They got there by conquering. The cost you fear is the judgment of mediocrity. You are afraid that people will call you cold. Let them. Their opinion pays no bills. Their love offers no protection. The law of the apex. You must become comfortable with being misunderstood. When you start destroying obstacles, people will say you have changed. They will say you are obsessed. They will say you are too much. Good. That means you are ascending. If you are not upsetting the status quo, you are part of it. You must build a wall of ice around your heart. Inside, you can keep a few trusted advisors, maybe 2, maybe 1. But outside, winter.
A wall of ice melts, Niccolò, and the water drowns you. You mentioned Caesar. Caesar was stabbed by his own trusted advisors, by his own son, Brutus. Why? Because he ruled through domination, not connection. You think you can build a small circle of trust while destroying the world outside? You cannot. If you teach your inner circle that ruthlessness is good, they will eventually be ruthless to you. You are training your own assassins. The cost is not just loneliness. The cost is paranoia. The tyrant never sleeps. He watches the door. He tastes his food for poison. He sees a plot in every whisper. Is this the life you want for the student? A life of golden shackles? I propose a different cost. The cost of discipline. To destroy your enemies without losing yourself, you must destroy the need for victory. You must do your duty. You must protect your boundaries, but you must not need the outcome. If I win, good. If I lose, good. I remain Marcus. This makes you untouchable, not because you are behind a wall of ice, but because you are made of light. Darkness cannot touch light. It can only disappear in its presence.
If I lose, good. Ha 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 ha. And this is why Rome fell. You are preparing them for failure, Marcus. You are giving them a soft pillow to land on when they are defeated. It's okay, I have my virtue. I am preparing them for survival. The world is not a philosophy class. It is a jungle. In the jungle, the lion does not care about virtue. He cares about territory. If you do not destroy the hyenas, they will eat your cubs. It is that simple. There is a final cost we must discuss: the sacrifice of innocence. To win, you must kill the boy inside you. The boy who wants to be liked. The boy who believes in fairness. The boy who cries when it hurts. You must take that boy out back and put a bullet in his head. You must be born again as a man of will. A man who sees the world as raw material to be shaped. This is painful. It is a funeral for your former self. But from the ashes of the boy, The conqueror rises. Are you willing to pay that price? Or do you want to stay a child forever?
To kill the boy is necessary, but you want to kill the man to birth a beast. Innocence should die, yes. Naivety should die, but goodness must survive. If you kill your capacity for goodness, you are not a man of will. You are a machine, a calculating engine of flesh and bone. And machines are replaced. Machines are broken. The true test of a man is not how many enemies he can destroy. It is how many he can save despite their hatred. The ultimate sovereignty. To stand in front of a man who wants to destroy you and to look at him with total calm. To disarm him not with a knife, but with a presence so solid that he feels ashamed of his own violence. That is the power of a god. Your power is the power of a beast. The beast eats, sleeps, and dies. The god endures. I do not want to rule over a graveyard, Niccolò. I want to rule over myself. And if in doing so the enemies fall away, let them fall. But I will not push them. I will simply stand.
Then you will stand alone, surrounded by the wolves I warned you about. And as they tear your flesh, you can whisper about your sovereignty. I prefer to stand on their necks. Listen to me, student. The world is trying to stop you. The system is designed to keep you average. Your friends want you to stay small. You have two choices. Choice A, you tolerate them. You forgive them. You try to transcend them. And they will drag you down into the mud until you suffocate. Choice B, you identify them. You outmaneuver them. You destroy their influence over you. You crush their resistance. Yes, you will have blood on your hands, but you will have the crown on your head. Which weight would you rather carry? The weight of regret or the weight of power?
There is a third choice, the weight of duty. You do not need to destroy them. You need to outgrow them. The tree does not try to destroy the weeds. It simply grows so tall that its shadow starves them of light. Grow, student. Become so immense in your competence, so undeniable in your results, that the enemies at your feet become irrelevant. Do not look down to crush them. Look up to the sun. Let them choke on your shadow.
A slow death for them. I can accept that. But make no mistake, the shadow must be cast. And to cast a shadow, you must stand in the light of power.
On that we agree. Stand tall and let the weak fall where they may.
The war is over. The dust settles. You have heard two doctrines on how to deal with those who try to stop you. Machiavelli handed you the sword. He taught you that enemies must be identified early and destroyed completely, that mercy to a rival is cruelty to yourself, that if you strike, you must leave no room for revenge. Marcus Aurelius handed you the shield. He taught you that the best revenge is to be unlike your enemy, that true power is not in killing the wolves, but in growing so tall that they can no longer reach your throat. To survive, you need the eyes of the predator, but the soul of the king. Spot the snakes before they bite. Close the gate to those who bring decay. But do not let your hatred for them consume your own potential. Do not just destroy them, outgrow them. Make their opposition irrelevant by the sheer scale of your success. If you are ready to rise above the crabs in the bucket, subscribe to the channel. We are building an empire of the strong. Now, I want to know where you stand. Who do you agree with more, Machiavelli or Marcus, and why? Does the modern world require total destruction, or is indifference the ultimate weapon? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Let the debate continue there. Dismissed.